Hello, everyone, and welcome to this week's Pirate Podcast in association with Great Days Golf, hosted by me, Mike Jones, aka Captain Pirate. On this week's show, I'll be talking to Australian PGA Tour Chief Gavin Kirkman. It's going to be a great show. We're going to be discussing Australian golf, the President's Cup, and the world famous Melbourne Sandbelt. As always, tune in on YouTube on our Great Days Golf channel. And when you're there, hit the subscribe button, hit the little bell, and then you're going to get notifications when more episodes come out in the future. You can catch me on MJ_Disabled Golf, or just the easiest search on all the social media platforms, #Captain Pirate. Get in touch, send me questions. I'm here to answer them. So without further ado, let's get on with this week's show, the Pirate Podcast, in association with Great Days Golf. Enjoy, everyone. Hi, Gav, and welcome to the podcast, mate. It's great to have you on board. I can't believe the tan you've got because it's the middle of summer. Oh,
So great to be here, Mike, and many thanks for the invite. And it's just good to catch up with you again. The last time we saw each other in person was when we had that battle at Huntingdale Golf Club in Victoria on the Sandbelt. So, and I think you got me that day, but it's just great to see you.
That was the 40-mile-an-hour winds as well, if I remember rightly.
That's right.
Oh, but it's great to have you on board. Like, I thought I'd drop you a line because we hadn't spoken for nearly a year, really. So it's the main one I want to do is sort of give people an insight into the work that you do behind the scenes that people might not even know about, because you're CEO of the PGAs of Australia. That's the correct title, isn't it?
That's correct. Yes.
If you could just give me like a brief outline on what you do on a day-to-day, is it sort of, am I right in saying that Keith Pelly is your counterpart on the European Tour? Are they the same positions, or does Keith do a slightly different job to you?
Yeah, Keith's slightly different. Probably why I tell everyone I've got the best job in golf, and we may think Keith or Commissioner Jay, Seth Wall from the PGA of America, you've got some great leaders out there in golf. But why I think I've got the best job, we're quite unique down here in Australia. So I'm the CEO of the PGA of Australia, and I represent near 3,000 vocational and tournament members within Australia, and 180 of them based overseas. We also own and operate the PGA Tour of Australasia. So we're unique in a way that we're the PGA, but we're also the tour. So I get the best of both worlds. So, this morning, Mike, just before we got on this call, I had a hookup with with all the PGAs from around the world. We had the PGA of America, South Africa, Great Britain and Ireland. We had Sweden, Holland, New Zealand. And we get together on a regular basis just to talk about our professionals. So vocationally, all those PGAs represent near 50,000 PGA professionals, men and women, all around the world. And that's how my day started at 7 a.m. this morning. I've since spoke with a member based in Dallas, Texas.
All right, yeah.
He's come up with a new concept called 8 Under, and 8 Under is about when he moved to America in 2008, and because he's from down under, he's setting up businesses over there where he'll be able to coach and have simulators, TrackMan, but in a social atmosphere of bar and food as well. And he's putting some of them together. And then tomorrow night I'm with the trainees. We call them our graduates. I'm going to be sitting in a room where 70 of our members will graduate tomorrow night. And yesterday I was in a women's network golf day. So you can understand I do have a pretty good job.
So that award side of it, that's the rewarding side for you as well. Seeing those guys, making it through. And just to make it clear, that's not just touring professionals. We're talking about PGA professionals at a golf club as well. Is that right?
Yeah, this is purely about the vocational, the PGA, young men and women. But we had a 50-year-old graduate last week in Victoria.
Oh, wow.
But it's the young men and women or men and women wanting to become a coach, wanting to game develop, wanting to manage, wanting to be a club pro, which is the heartbeat of every golf club, the club pro or director of golf. So it's this side, and then our tour school will be next month in April, and that's where we'll get our tour school graduates who are going down that pathway.
Yeah, and you're giving them support structures, because that tour school is brutal, to be frank, isn't it? It's tough, and those guys that get through it deserve all the rewards they get. But I suppose part of your job is travel. You get to travel a lot as well, because I had a discussion with my wife this afternoon, where, because I said we were on the call this evening, I'm saying, right, now where did we meet now, Beth? Let me get this right. And I saying, right, so we were walking through Portrush during the open practice days, and we were walking through. She said, no, it was out on the main road. She said, we were on our way back to the house. I'm adamant it was inside, and Beth is adamant it was outside on the road. So you need to clear that up now. So I can eat apple pie then if I have to.
I was going to say it was out on the road, and it was when we're walking down, because we were just staying at the end of the road in a shared house, and I had our chair in Roger Davis with us. We were walking back, and one of our other commercial directors. So we did meet outside, and I'm sorry, Mike, but
that's okay.
It was special, and the best part is that's where I think our friendship bonded straight away, because here we were. I think we were waiting for crowds and lights and so forth, and you just said hello like you've always said, and we got into a good conversation. We ended up knowing that you were going to come down and visit in Australia, and we ended up with a game of golf, and this friendship hasn't. We don't talk to each other regularly, but we pick up pretty quick from where we left off.
Yeah, it's I can't describe it. Since my accident, I saw that I've got this approach to life now where, when sometimes people give you lip service, you know what I mean. You might meet someone and say, yeah, I'll take you there. And you never follow it up, because you don't think it's, not that you don't think it's sincere, you think, oh, they don't really mean that. But what I learned since I lost my leg is when people make those offers, take them up on it, which is why when I offer people rounds of golf at the Celtic, say, come and play the Celtic with me. I'll take you around there, no problem at all. I always make sure I follow that up and get them on there, because it's really important. And by following up those opportunities, it's opened so many doors to me. I'm walking through, like you said, Portrush down the main road, thinking, now I saw Roger Davis the day before, walking through, and nobody was taking any. I thought, why is nobody even going up to this guy and asking him for it's a selfie now? It's not an autograph, it's a selfie. And it's Roger Davis, and he's just walking along, eating it. I think he was eating his bag of chips or something. He was walking through the crowds, and Beth said, you should have gone and spoken to him. And I was going, I don't know, I didn't feel right doing it. And then now that you've reminded me, it was on the road, and we got speaking, and you straight away, as soon as you heard a bit of what I was saying to Roger, here's my card, get in touch. And I thought, I'm going to do that. I'm going to get in touch, and we did. And we were in Australia visiting relatives, and had an amazing time at Huntingdale. I loved it. I played Metropolitan the day before. I met up with double amputee Mike Rolls, who does great work with his adaptive clinics and everything at Metropolitan Club. I saw him there with Jeff Nichols. No, I can never remember if it was Nichols or Nicholas.
No, Jeff Nicholas, but spelt different with a CHOLAS. So
and I met those guys, and
two inspirational Australians. But Mike I think I told you, he's selfless with his time. He went to my daughter's school and did a motivational speech for them at my daughter's school. And Jeff is he continues, his story is great. He would be someone that would tell a really good story on your podcast, because he's a remarkable man with his family, but just how he plays the game as well. And his never give up approach to the game. He's played some incredible, which you would have known a few about, some incredible golf courses, but he's played at such a good standard too, Mike.
Well, that's the bit that amazed me. So we're having a little warm up, and Jeff has come along. This was, just so our listeners know, this was at the Metropolitan Club. So you've got Huntingdale and Metropolitan are literally next door to each other, aren't they?
That's right.
But completely different styles, and it wasn't until you told me the different grasses on the green, so they putt differently, which is, I still can't get my head around. But we were warming up, and Mike Rolls is like a youngish guy, fairly athletic, and he was pounding the ball. And I thought, wow, like that's impressive, double amputee. And then Jeff is just about his business, hitting his wedges and doing nothing extraordinary. And we go and play Metropolitan then, not quite as windy as when me and you played Huntingdale. And we're going through front nine. Mike's had a couple of bad holes in the bunkers, and I've hit a couple of wayward tee shots, and we get to the turn, and I think Mike was 4 over, I was 6 over. Jeff was like level par. Hang on, I was Jeff level par. He's just doesn't make a mistake, like you said. If he hits the green, he 2 putts. I didn't see him 3 putt. Didn't miss many greens, and I was. It wasn't until you reflect on it afterwards you think, my God, Jeff, how good were you playing today? I was okay, and he's so laid back. As I'd be jumping from the rooftops if I shot level par around Metropolitan. It's unbelievable scoring. He's such a great player and a nice guy with it as well.
He is, yeah. No, he's got a great story, and with his family and so forth. I listened to one of our local guys interviewing him, a PGA pro up in Sydney, and I learned so much about him. So he's an incredible guy, and as I said, I'm a fan of Mike Rolfe. He's just out there having fun, and being a double amputee, and then how it all come and the decisions he's had to make in life. But he's so positive, and he's so good for young people. So
I think that's the key factor, is that he gave me fantastic advice, because I was just starting out on this. I knew I wanted to do something in the golf industry, but I had no idea what. I had a passion for it, and I had the time then to commit to it. And Mike gave me some great advice on talking, get some official training behind you. He said that really helped him. And just be yourself and try and be confident about it, and don't get nervous about it. If you mess up and make mistakes, you mess up and make mistakes. And he just calmed me right down. It was just superb. And all those lessons that those guys, I think it's the Australian, the laid, like Australians come across as laid back, until Mike has got so much fire in his belly. You can see how fierce a competitor he is. And he's such a nice guy then the other way. So it was great. But we were talking about those courses. And the one thing I wanted to talk about is the President's Cup, because Australia are obviously heavily involved, and us in Europe always look at the Ryder Cup. And sometimes we look down on the President's Cup, which I personally feel is wrong. I don't think everybody does, but sometimes it has that image of a lesser cousin, say, or a smaller cousin. But I've watched some of those President's Cup matches, and oh my God, they are ultra competitive, if not more passionate than the Ryder Cup, in my opinion, when I've taken the time to watch them. And I just remember there was the President's Cup was in Royal Melbourne 2019. And I just remember, having seen that course in person, the golf they were playing was out of this world. I've never seen nothing like it. And we wouldn't see it in a Ryder Cup, because we wouldn't get to see a course like Royal Melbourne or Huntingdale or Metropolitan. We just wouldn't get to see that type of golf. Were you actually there to watch it? Were you able to watch that President's Cup in person?
Yeah, very, very much, and we're very fortunate. The PGA Tour, operated and delivered the President's Cup, but from the PGA of Australia's point of view, we were a strong support with them. We assisted, where we could inside the ropes with rules officials. We have some very experienced rules officials that work for our tour department, and then on the ground we coordinated all the lessons for when the children come in. So we had roughly 40 PGA pros. When you'd walk through the village, we had our hitting bays set up, like they do at the Open Championship. Giving tips. We entertained our partners there as well. So, we were out there, with our commercial and board and senior management.
It's just engaging. It's engaging those people, isn't it?
Yeah, and Mike, you're right. I think I was lucky. My wife and I did a bucket list and took leave. I work in golf, but I took leave and went to the Ryder Cup in France, and it was
my God,
it was the best experience. My wife's an avid golfer. She plays off 12 handicaps, so it's easy to travel with her and go to a golf tournament. And we had the best time. We were lucky. The first couple of days we were just part of the general crowd. Got to sit in the grandstand, 6,500 people on day one, watch the sun come up, and then we watched the Europeans do their work on that USA team. And right from day one, the whole team come down to the tee to wish the first group off. And so, the players, well, when I say the whole team, the non-players for that morning, which, if my memory is right, was Poulter, Sergio, Noren, and one other. But Sergio, with all his love and passion, was on the tee, and they were getting the crowd going behind, and just the two American players come down. But Poulter, being Poulter, he started walking up and down the grandstands. And I've got a photo. We were sitting probably 60 seats up the grandstand. Yeah. We had a great view, but Poulter's walked past, and we've got our photo taken at 6 a.m. in the morning as the sun's coming up on the first tee, and it's just a memory. But that highlighted that Sergio's giving everyone a hug, Team Europe a hug. And just saying that we're a team, and they were a team for the week, and you could just see what was going to unfold. But it was great golf, and when the President's Cup come down, and Adam was a senior player in the team, and Captain Ernie Els was involved. Being the international team, we really were, hoping that something special would happen on that beautiful Alistair Mackenzie course. But I think Ernie did a fantastic job. With Jeff Ogilvy and used Adam and all the local knowledge, because they went really close that final day of the President's Cup. But Tiger come out and did his job as Captain Tiger, and the Tiger, only Tiger Woods can do. But the crowds, I thought, when you think, are they very close? Well, I think on the right venues, the experience that we got in our backyard down here at Royal Melbourne, and to have done 2018 Ryder Cup, I thought, we matched it very much so, as far as, from a country delivering a tournament, and the PGA Tour did a super job working with
I think the time will come for these for the international teams, because they clearly, you could see it. As when I watched it, I could see they looked like that team that was coming. They wanted to play for each other. And as you said, I think America, I got a few of my American friends watch the podcast. They might have a go at me for this, but I feel as though America is sometimes disjointed. And because they haven't been successful in the Ryder Cup over the last 2 decades, it's as though there's a lot of pressure on them to win, which I assume now is the same for the international players. They feel that pressure internally, and it's easy to be confident and a strong team when you're winning most of the time. So I think it just needs one match or one tournament to turn around for them, and they can get on a run. And you can see it bubbling underneath. It's going to come. It's quite a, I just can't wait for them to win it again, because it's coming. Yeah. And when it does, because I was looking back at the record of it earlier on today when I was doing a bit of research, and I've got the internationals won it in 1998 at Royal Melbourne.
That's right.
Now, when I came to visit you, that was my first time in Melbourne, and we went up in the View Tower on the south bank, the skyscraper. You can go up to the top, and there's a viewing area.
That's right.
Now, before I went, they're all going, "Oh, Melbourne, the sports city." All Beth's relatives and cousins and uncles that we were visiting it's a sports city. We got everything there. And it wasn't until I was at that View Tower and I looked down at that, it must only be a square mile. That's all I can think is about a square mile. And you've got the MCG, the Rod Laver Arena, the Formula One track, the Aussie rules football, a river running through the middle that they can row up. And I thought, that's all in like a square mile. And I was just blown away. I couldn't believe it. And you can see why Melbourne is the sports city now and is absolutely sport mad, because you never want to go. I said to Belle, I just don't want to go anywhere else. I want to stay here now for the Australian summer, watch all these sports unfold and just go from here to here to here to here and just have a great time. So do you live in Melbourne, Gav, or are you on the outskirts? Or
no, I'm sort of out in southeast Melbourne in a suburb called Bentley, but geographically, I'm 10 minutes from Royal Melbourne. I'm 5 minutes from Huntingdale, and I'm 15 kilometres from the city. And then with,
so is that
with
out towards Vermont, out that way?
Yeah,
or is that out where we were
at Huntingdale, so not very far from Huntingdale and Yarra Yarra and Commonwealth and all those courses. And then on the other side of the Nepean Highway, you've got Victoria and Royal Melbourne and so forth. So no, I live in a great location. Then I'm about 40 minutes from the airport, which when we start going back to some normal, I'll be traveling again. But it's always handy to be not too far from the airport when you're traveling, with my work and that. I used to travel around 100 days per year. But, I'm just doing, domestic travel at the moment, and probably international travel. Our board and our directors will probably, will consider that in 2022. We'll probably just stay within domestic this year. So.
I think a lot of us are looking at maybe the middle of summer in the UK looks like we're going to be able to start traveling again, but we don't know about Europe because of this. They got this vaccine situation going on with supplies of it, and the UK well over half the population has been vaccinated the first dose now, which is an incredible achievement. But if the countries we're going to are not up to speed with that program, then travel is still going to be restricted by the looks of it. But I just can't wait to get back to Melbourne again, because Beth said, "Oh, there's so many other places we can go." I said, Melbourne was so big that we were there for nearly 3 weeks. We stayed in the city for those 3 weeks, and we thought, "Oh, we'll have a good explore." And this is just to give the listeners sort of some background to how big Melbourne is. So Melbourne sits in a bay on the southeast coast of Australia, and it's right in this natural bay. And the one day we thought we'll go and see the 12 Apostles, which is a recognized tourist thing to see. So we drove for 4 hours around this bay to get onto the coast road, and we thought we're gonna have to drive back because it's going to be 4 hours to get back to the hotel, and we hadn't got to these apostles on the coast road. And then the other day we drove the other way around the base, and the next day we drove 3 hours around to the little peninsula tip point,
Yes.
which was absolutely beautiful. So there's an 8-hour drive just around the bay, which is the same as driving from the south coast in England to Scotland.
Yeah.
And that's just the city. That's not even the state of Victoria or the country of Australia. So we've just got to get back and do more. But the one I was determined to talk to you about was the sand belt. These courses like Huntingdale, Kingston Heath, Metropolitan, Yarra Yarra, and Victoria. Is there a particular one? I think, is it you're a member of Huntingdale, so you might say that, but are there others that you really enjoy playing?
Yeah, and before I talk about the sandbelt, you just to continue on your driving around. I think we've been living down here 10 years this year, Mike. We moved down with work, and I'm a country Queenslander up in the Brisbane area, so I'm very country, and to move the family down after 30 years on the Gold Coast and Queensland was a big move, but we're loving it, and where we're sport with golf courses and sporting events, we're surrounded by culture with arts and comedy festivals and shows that you can go to, and then the restaurants and food. So you do need more than 3 weeks. And then when we talk about golf, and I'm a golf tragic, we've got the Mornington Peninsula, and there's great golf courses down there, like the new Peninsula Kingswood, which is an Ogilvy Cocking Mead design. We've got the National, which has some of the best golf courses. So we've got some great courses down there, and then on the Bellarine, on your way down to the 12 Apostles, you've got Barwon Heads and 13th Beach. So there's golf courses popping up everywhere where you can just be driving along and pull on the side of the road and find a course and go and have a game. Back onto the sandbelt, where we're just spoiled, and living down here in Victoria. If you said to me, Gav, have you played a bad course or badly? Or a course that's not presented well, they're all so proud. But on the sandbelt, we've got Royal Melbourne, the East and West course, and I've got to play the composite. The year of the President's Cup, they had some sponsors days. We've then got Kingston Heath and Victoria, 2 great golf courses, and all these courses could hold a National Open tomorrow. That's how they're presented. And then you move into Yarra Yarra, and that's where my wife's a member of Yarra Yarra Commonwealth, and and then you've got Huntingdale and Metropolitan. So they're your sand belts, and around there you've got Woodlands Golf Course, and there's more and more that pop up. I'm a member of Huntingdale, and I'm a proud member there, but I love walking and the history of Royal Melbourne, and knowing the championships that have been played there and the winners that have come off that course. But if you said, where would you like to play next for you and I'd love to talk to the pro or the manager and play Kingston Heath. Kingston Heath makes me nervous. I get onto the first tee, and the fairway's 100 meters wide, but I'm still so nervous. And, because you just feel I'm at Kingston Heath. And then as you work your way around the course and the design, but I'm big on the whole experience, Mike. So you drive into Kingston Heath, and like all the sandbelts, the staff are wonderful, but there's a little short game area to go and hit some 7-irons, and you can go and hit your drivers and have a full warm up. But if you just want to have a nice cup of tea or cup of coffee and hit a few 7-irons and have a putt, and then you drift onto the first tee, and then your experience starts, and then you go out, and it's all about who you play with more so than what score you shoot, and you have the best experience and a little bit of banter and that friendship. But Kingston Heath, if every time I go there I get nervous, and running golf and being in golf, I feel whether it's a junior or a rookie professional, or it's right up to Adam Scott and Hannah Green and Minjee Lee, if we can make them nervous at a tournament, we've done our job. At
Yeah.
Kingston Heath, I get nervous. I get nervous when I drive in the car park. I'm going, oh, here I am.
One of like as you know, like one the company I'm involved with now, Great Days Golf. One of our partner clubs is Concertier in Switzerland. Now, I've mentioned it in a few of my podcasts before, but that's the feeling I had when I was so excited about playing there. Couldn't wait to get there. But it's that anticipation. You've seen so many, and I'm playing the first and trying to. I want to get to the 6th and 7th because they're the iconic holes we'd see on the television with the Alps in the background and all this.
Yeah.
And thinking, and then I'm saying, no, just slow down and soak it all up and take it all in. And then we finish playing golf, and you're sat in this. It's like a chalet, and you just got a bar, and the 18th green is 15 yards away, and you sat there, and you've got the older gentlemen with their pipes and smoking a cigar with their glass of red wine or a small whiskey, and the atmosphere is just great. And as you said about that, when we go, I would love to experience that side of thing, because rather than just go see some American resorts, you roll up, it's all like ding, 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 all official,
Yeah.
get you, tee off and go. I want the experience. So that sounds as though it's right up my street, the sort of thing I'd love to do. So
and I think as golfers, and you know, and I work in professional golf, but even professional golf, I think, you know, we've got the best courses, and we've all seen the best courses everywhere we go. The great designers, you know, from Nicholas, you know, to Thompson to Norman, you know, we've got some great courses. I still think it's really important to create an experience. You know, there's a big thing from an experience to a round of golf. A round of golf is when you walk in and they say, "There's the first tee. Good luck. You know, drop your buggy, or drop your, you know, pick your gear up later on." I think it's just going in and having that experience, because then, you know, whatever level golfer you're at, whether you're social, you know, you want to walk away from that facility saying, I've had a great experience today, you know, and it may be the best thing that happened was the coffee. The golf might not have been good, or some photos you've taken out on course. And we've been doing a lot of work, you know, with you know, young golfers to try and attract more people to our game, and we have, through the boom of golf in, you know, through the pandemic, has been great. But we're trying to find out what attracted them to either start playing golf or re-engage with the game. And, you know, for the different demographic to ourselves that are tragics and we want to go, the best part was the social and the experience.
Yeah.
And we said to this, we said to this one group, there was two young girls and two young guys. We were doing some survey work through a company, and we said to the girls, you know, why are you playing golf? And they said, social, and, you know, my friends here, we're having fun. And we said to the guys, you know, why are you playing? And exercise and mental health and all the positives with our sport. The other guy said, I'm playing golf at this course because they have the coldest beer and the beer I like. And we thought, well, we didn't even mention technology or grass.
Yeah.
We just mentioned he's here at this course because they have cold beer and they had his preferred beer on tap.
Well, it's right, because I went on a training course with Wales Golf, because I'm an inclusive ambassador for them. And when I first started doing that role, they took us on a little training course down at the headquarters, and we sat there and they say, right, what's the best course, or out of these courses, which is the one you've had the best experience at? And we went through them, and all our answers, I think it was 10 of us in the room, all of our answers, none of it was a golf hole or a golf shot. It was all, we met this guy. It was a great experience. You know, we chatted with him in the bar, or the pro made me feel really welcome, or this greenkeeper stopped me when I was playing the 1 hole and asked out what I thought. It was all around experiences. Yeah. It was hardly about the golf course or what we had done. So that personal experience, whenever I take my friends down the Celtic Manor, for instance, so they got a full, you've seen it, they got a full valet service. You turn up, you don't see your clubs until they're down on the range for you. All your shoes are cleaned. It's a great experience that sometimes I take for granted now. But whenever my friends or we're having a barbecue and we're having a beer and we're reminiscing, they all talk about that, not the course. They all say, "Oh, well, it's great. You turn up. They take your clubs off you. They do this. And you get down on the driving range and you've got your triangular balls all set up, and you just feel like a professional." And you think, well, it's nothing to set a triangular balls up on the range, but it makes a massive, massive impact on people, and that's what drives customers back.
It does.
And those, as you said, those experiences are so important. And it sounds as though you're doing all the right things, Gavin, to get these drive people into the game, with experiences.
And I think, and you've got to cater for everyone. I think it's important from grassroots right up. And yesterday we did a Women's Golf Network Day at Yarra Yarra Golf Club. So, we're lucky that Yarra Yarra opened their doors, but it was about the experience. So in the morning we had advanced golfers with 6 of our women PGA professionals having clinics. So there was about 40 of them. And then the lunch, we invited all our business women and profile women, news reporters and so forth into the lunch. So we did an interview with a cross section of a young player, an experienced player, and then a celebrity. And then in the afternoon, we had another group of 30 ladies come in, beginners, never played before, and we had them on the range with the pros. And then the ladies from the morning went and played Ambrose, 9 holes at Ambrose in the afternoon. So, it was all about, and I think they all enjoyed golf. But when I went down to the beginners clinic in the afternoon, everyone was talking. They were taking photos and selfies and posting them, saying, "This is cool. I'm at a golf course." And we had to take some of their, put them in some golf gear and so forth. But you just thought, well, the ladies come out today, and it's great to see women playing and the business women and because we're really big on equality and what we do. And when I talk a little bit about Australian golf in a moment to you, you'll understand. But it was just great to see all those women playing, because with the resurgence and the boom of our game, we've had 15% increase in club memberships, but only 1% of that 15% were women.
That's the bit that
and
we're
that's
really
something
passionate.
we're working really hard on, Mike. So
this Great Days Golf that we're doing now, we're doing events as well. So it's our app, is a web-based app that we basically advertise the club's position to our users, so it can attract new members and new guests. But we also host events, and part of the passion, and we've all discussed this as directors, is the inclusive nature. So I'm doing a charity day coming up now where we've got 2 teams from Edgar playing. So that's 8 disabled guys coming in to play. So we do that. But we're saying, right, we're going to do a women's only event, because some of our associate members, like we call them executive partners now rather than ambassadors. So the 3 of them are ladies. So we're going to get them on board, and we're going to do a women's day, because I've never seen it. We see all the men's ones where they have their shotgun start and they all play and then they all have a beer after. So why is nobody doing this for women? Why should women miss out on that? So that's what we're doing as Great Days Golf. We'll be doing women's days as well, which is great. And then we'll do mixed days. We've really got big plans about being as inclusive as we can, because you have to be. Because as you said, new members, the women members at golf clubs is low, is nowhere near what it should be, because they can play. This is the bit I don't get. They can play as good as us if not better. And I would say, as women are learning, they're better putters, definitely better chippers, and their short games are just incredible. Because all the ones I've seen that have taken up the game, I'm just watching ladies golf on television and just watching their techniques on short game and putting. Because off the tee, they hit the same distances I do, but most of them hit it further than me now anyway, because I'm 55. So I can relate to it more. And I think people do enjoy watching the women's game because they've got better temperaments. You know, they're showing us, I think, how the game should be played. That's my opinion, like how the game should be played.
Yeah, and I think, the inclusiveness is really important, and we've just got to open, modernize everything at club level, because, with the club membership here in Australia, there's roughly 400,000, club members, affiliated with Golf Australia and hold a Golf Link handicap. The balance in there has fallen below 20% for women. So,
wow.
15 years ago it was 35%, and it's now fallen below. So there's a lot of work we do. We've actually got a steering committee as an industry called Vision 2025, and it's all about, girls and women, bringing them into the game. And Kari Webb sits on that steering committee and the wider industry, and it's a real positive. So we've got some really good strategies, and part of it from the PGA's point of view is to get more women in as PGA professionals.
Yeah.
And we're having some really good inroads there. And it's just, but we've also got to build that talent pool, because we don't just want them coming into the PGA as vocational professionals. Through a collaboration agreement we've done with the Women's Professional Golf in Australia, which are now called the WPGA Tour of Australasia. We've got to get more talent, Mike, into that pool so that we can have more young women making it onto the tour, and making it onto the LPGA tour, the LET, Korea, Japan, and pathways. So we've got to get a much stronger presence, around the world for our women. So we're working really, really, really well with the WPGA. We're very collaborated and aligned. And that golf day I spoke about yesterday was a joint golf day with the Karen Lunn, who's the CEO, and her team. And it was just a great day.
It's really important, and it's the work you do, Gavin, that our golfing unions, I'm sure, would take great interest in, because I know there's lots of schemes that Wales Golf do, and England Golf in particular do, and the R&A do. They got the Women in Golf Charter, I think, recently was issued, and a friend of mine, Amy Bullock.
We're part of that.
Oh, right. Oh, so I think they're all great initiatives and we understand we just got to get more people playing. That's where it boils down to. So we've talked virtually, we've covered all the subjects that I think I'll give you a little heads up on what we were going to talk about. But it was Golf Australia, I think, was the final one.
I'll probably that's what I was building, because I'm really excited and passionate. So one of the things I just want to tell you, a new series, when we're talking about equality and women, we launched a new series of events called the Players Series. The Players Series was a global first, where we had men and women professionals playing for the same prize pool, with the women playing off moderated tees that were calculated, professionally done. So we've staged two of them, one at Rosebud in Victoria and Bonnie Doon in Sydney. A huge success. The first tournament, so that the field makeup is 60 men and 60 women. And then we have elite men and women amateurs, through the national squads.
All right.
And then after the weekend, on the weekend after the cut, 25 junior girls and boys join the professionals and the elite amateurs to play on the weekend for a separate tournament. And it's all about gaining experience. We also broadcast these events with television cameras. So our first event was hosted by Jeff Ogilvie, and coming with 4 holes to go, Mike, we had Sue O and Brad Kennedy leading. We had Elvis Smiley, who was an elite amateur. He was in the clubhouse at 16 under. So we had 3 at 16 under coming down the straight. So we could have had a male professional, a female professional, or elite amateur win. It worked out that a young 14-year-old Molly McLean, one of the juniors, the junior boys and girls were playing against each other as well. She was 4 behind with 4 to go. She birdied 15. She chipped in on 16, and then she parred 17. Oh no, she made birdie on 17, and then played the last and birdied 18 as well, playing with Sue O. She's hit it to 2 foot. Sue O only finished at 16 under. You had young Elvis on the driving range, nervous about going into a playoff. And then a young guy, Jack Thompson, birdied the last to beat Molly by a shot. And then Brad Kennedy hit a 153-metre uphill 7-iron to a foot to win the tournament, the total tournament. And it was just from a promoter's dream. And this is a WPGA tour and our tour. It's a joint initiative. So we're pretty excited that
it clearly works if you're getting those sorts of results from all the demographics in that position. That's a fantastic advert for golf.
Yeah, and it was just getting them all together. It was fun. The broadcast was done low, but it was, we got really good domestic viewership. So that's one thing I really wanted to talk about. And you can see I'm quite passionate about it. And then from golf in Australia, for many, many years, again, this is quite unique. I've spoke about the tour and the PGA being one in Australia, but the Victorian government put up funding to upgrade Sandringham Golf Course, which is across the road. It's a public facility across the road from Royal Melbourne. And the golf bodies invested into a purpose-built office to put the Federation, which is Golf Australia, and the PGA. So in July this year, and I'll send you some images, we're going to cohabitate with the Federation. So golf, the 2 national bodies and the women will all be under the one roof. And this is just to grow our sport. When we take on the football codes here in Australia, AFL and NRL and cricket and tennis and netball and basketball, we're trying to forge our sport and do what's best for Australian golf. So that's something that, again, there's a lot of work to be done between now and then, transition of staff. There's going to be high performance areas. There's going to be media rooms. It's going to be a state-of-the-art facility, but on a public golf course, which is important because the message, 30-bay driving range. Yeah. We want to make sure from the game's point of view, we can have our beautiful private clubs, Sandbelt, and we do need them. But to attract people to the game, we hope that...
you have to give them the opportunity, don't you, to access the game.
How do you bring them into the game? So that's probably the biggest project and probably a really critical project for Australian golf at the moment. So we're working a lot on that. Our commitment is 100% to make it work and to make everyone feel really good about how they get into the game. But from our PGA pros, they can learn best practice and technology and so forth. So when you come out next, that's where the office will be. So,
well, like I say, when I come out next, if there's anything I can do to help with those promotional things, if there's anything going on at that time, I'm not sure if Beth will come over. I'm going to try and do it around some of the Edgar tournaments, some of the Amputee Australia tournaments, so I can stay for maybe a month, 6 weeks, play a few tournaments, and then I can tie up with you and help anything that raises awareness of the disability side of golf, but just getting anyone into golf. So any of those programs, if you feel I can help you out and I'm coming over, you just let me know, mate. That's not a problem at all.
No,
But
because Mike, we're proud to say that with the all abilities and the programs that we've been working on with the UK, we've now got 108 PGA professionals fully accredited in all abilities coaching. They've gone and done the extra course, and their commitment to and I've learnt and so much through yourself how you got brought back in to into the society and that through the game of golf and the training that our PGA professionals are getting in that area. Just when the disabilities are there across all areas, and that's something that we've learnt a lot from the UK through the PGA of Great Britain and Ireland, and we've now got over 100 accredited coaches around our country.
That's incredible, that is, Gavin. In such a short space of time, that is phenomenal, because there is definitely a different technique to teaching someone with a disability to, and the good ones, I think it's natural coaches grasp it much more quickly, because the ones who are natural, you know what I mean? Some people are really, really great technically, and that's what some people want. But then other people need those natural coaches who can just look at an individual and say, I can see what works for you. And those coaches are fantastic with people with a disability, because they say, right, I can see what you can do. Let's work on getting that technique that you can do better. And then they're away then. They see improvement straight away, and the pros, they have to be as adaptive as the players.
Oh, by all means. And I think the communicators are exactly what you're saying as far as being good communicators. Christian Hamilton is a young PGA pro that works with Golf Australia now, but he drove this for many years, and the success of the program in Australia, comes back to Christian Hamilton and his passion, and what you said. He was born to get into this space, and he's very successful, but his passion has rubbed off onto so many other men and women of the PGA of Australia, which has been really good.
Oh, well, Gav, our time's coming to an end, and I really, really enjoyed catching up with you. Thank you so much for coming on the Pirate Podcast. It's been great having you on board. If our listeners enjoyed it, then drop me a line, MJ_disabled golf, or the easiest search is #CaptainPirate. You'll find me on all the social media lines. But for the moment, Gavin, thank you so much for being on, mate. It's been an absolute pleasure as always. I look forward to seeing you sooner. Hopefully, fingers crossed, we can get together and keep up the amazing work you're doing in Australia, because you're a leading light in what you do, and so many people can learn so much from what you do. So great to have you on the show, Gavin.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks for the opportunity, and to all the listeners. We've got a great guy, Mike Jones, and what he does for golf, but what he does for society is excellent. So, Mike, all the best to you as well, and look forward to seeing you down under when the international borders open to all of us.
Oh, brilliant. Take care, Gav. Thanks, mate.